Hey, what up guys? In today's video, we're driving through Jacksonville, Florida, and we're going to be talking about getting a job and how I am going to go about getting a job. Because for myself, I've been trying to get a position ever since I moved to Jacksonville, Florida in 2010. I had one job from 2010 till now, and one job I didn't get because at that time I didn't have the driving experience, is what they said. They needed like 2 years of driving experience, and I didn't have that at the time, so that's why I didn't get the job where I was working for a moving company driving their box truck. I never drove a box truck in my life, but I was willing to do it because it was like a $12 an hour job. It had medical and dental and all those benefits, and I was pumped about it. They said if I would have had the driving experience, they would have hired me on the spot because they seen I had work experience. They seen I was motivated, and I'm like, could you kind of lie about it? I told the lady, I'm like, can you kind of fudge that I do have the driving experience? She goes, I can't do that because it goes through the insurance, and they want to know straight up if you work this, you have this amount of driving experience. So I was like, okay, is there any other spots in the company that I could work, like loading the truck or driving helper, like driving with the driver but being a helper, unloading the furniture? And they're like, no, we just need somebody who's an actual driver that can deal with driving the furniture and unloading. And it's like, okay, I guess I can't do that. And she's like, well, sorry. I was like, are you going to call me for any other position? She goes, more than likely I'm never going to call you again. I was like, why? She goes, because you don't have the driving experience. And that kind of let me down because I was really pumped for that position because of the job experience, or the job payment, how much they would pay, and I thought it would be an easy job, and it wasn't far from my house, so it would be like 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back every day, so it wouldn't be like I was commuting super far, but it was just the lack of the driving experience at that time, which totally pissed me off because personally I have the experience to do that job. And the only interview that I had recently was for a grocery store, and it threw me off. I don't know if this is the reason why I didn't get the position, because they actually did bring up maybe working like the night shift, like overnight stocking. And my family was like, you could do overnight stocking, it's a job. And I have no problem with overnight stocking. It could be because I had a beard, I have like facial hair, and I have long hair, and they're like, that's not professional for the grocery store environment. But working overnight, nobody's gonna be there, so why would they care if you had tattoos or piercings or whatever? So the thing that threw me off was in the interview, the guy asked, so tell me about yourself. And I didn't know if he wanted the actual tell me about yourself, like tell me what your hobbies are, because it's hard for myself to talk about myself. You know, it's hard for people in general to talk about themselves and tell people what they're into, what they're all about. And I was like, do you want to know my job experience? And he goes, no, tell me about yourself. So I didn't really know if it was okay at the time to say, hey, I like making YouTube videos. I like going on road trips and traveling. I love bowling. I love going to concerts. I love podcasting and hanging out with friends and family and shooting the shit. I didn't know if that was okay to say in the interview. And later, after I told my family and friends about it, they're like, that's what they wanted you to say. They wanted you to explain yourself, who you are, because they wanted to know who you are as a personality and not just your work experience. And I was like, I've never heard that before in an interview before. I always heard, how can you be an asset to this company? How are you a hard worker? Do you have a reliable transportation? That kind of stuff. And because I didn't, I guess, talk about myself as like a third person, like Trevor's like this, and this, I didn't get the position. And if I could look at somebody else, they said, hey, talk about your friend, talk about your brother, I can explain to somebody who they are and what they're all about. But it's very difficult for me as a person to talk about myself as a third person, break down who I am and what I like to do as fun and exciting. I think that's hard for a lot of people. And currently I am in the process of getting a position at Amazon, and I just picked the part-time position. And you might ask yourself, why not full-time? Well, because on the news, they actually said there was like 20 or 30,000 people who showed up for the full-time positions in Jacksonville at the job fair. And I was like, okay, that's going to probably let me out. So I'm going to go for the part-time position. So the people who still want a job, even if it's 16 hours a week, 20 hours a week, that's going to at least give me some income for the time being. And if I work my ass off there, eventually I can proceed into maybe a full-time position. So I'm currently in the position of waiting for Amazon to send me an email that says my orientation date, and then I can start, because I want to work and bust in my ass. I don't care if it's hard work, easy work. I just want to have that schedule where I know I can get up every day and I have a plan of what I'm doing and have a plan of where I'm going. I love the plan. I love that type of schedule. I love when I was in college. I think college, when I was there, it was very motivating for me. It was very fun, and I never missed a day of school because I was pumped. I enjoyed learning. I loved enjoying the conversations with people I met. I enjoyed the social interaction. I enjoyed just the overall learning of what I learned, and it was a cool experience. And I see where a lot of colleges have really motivating teachers. I think if the teacher is very, very motivating and is very laid back and very cool, and basically is like, hey, Trevor, I'm going to motivate you to want to work, to want to come here every day, then you're going to want to come every day. It's like when you're in high school, you go to school because it's kind of like you have to. And a lot of times those teachers aren't motivating. They're not like motivating you to come. They're just teaching you. And it's like a lot of teachers who teach you are boring. They might have the skill set to teach, but they don't have that charismaticness that is motivating, that is making it fun and exciting. And I see why a lot of people drop out of high school. I see a lot of people who don't go to college because they're thinking it's going to be monotonous, it's going to be the same thing over and over. But for myself, when I went to college, the teacher was very fun, very exciting to go see every day, go to that class and learn. And it was digital audio and production. And I still, to this day, never had more fun in any of my years of school, from high school to elementary to whatever, than I did in that class. Because it's not just the fact that there was people to hang out and talk to and get to know as friends. It was the fact that the subject is something I was interested in, and I went there every day, and my grades reflected that. I was getting like B+ on every single thing we were creating, everything, even test, everything, because I was so motivated to go every day to learn. And once the school year was over, I was like, man, I wish I was taking this class again, because I liked it that much. And the teacher was just, I would say he was a badass. He was just one of those cool kind of dudes. And you know, there is times where I get discouraged, I get down on myself. I'm thinking to myself, well, how come everybody I know is getting a job, everybody I know is working, everybody I know is busting their ass, and I can't seem to get my foot in the door? They say, like Eminem says in that song, you got one opportunity, one time to shine, but if you don't get that opportunity, how are you going to shine? And everybody I know, besides one person, still lives here in Florida. Everybody else has moved out of Florida to get jobs that they can actually do, and Florida just wasn't helping them get jobs. And the President of the United States says there's jobs coming back to America. Well, I will say this. I know people from around the country that says Amazon is hiring in their location. Amazon is bringing back like almost 16, 17, 1,800 jobs, and doing Amazon type work, like warehouse work, all you need is a high school diploma. So it's not something that is crazy hard. All you have to know is where to put a box on a table and take like a label that says like Jacksonville and put it in the Jacksonville side. And if it says like Compton, California, you have to put it in the like section where it's going to go to Compton or whatever. That's what you got to do. You got to know how to separate stuff. That's pretty much what it is. Warehouse work is tedious. It is long. It is hard. Not trying to be dirty, but it's very hard work. It's not easy work. So don't be a punk trying to go in there and think you're gonna mop up the floor by going in there and working half-assed. No, it's fast-paced kind of work, and I don't mind doing that kind of work. I really don't. But that's one of the companies that's bringing like 15, 16, 1,700 jobs or even more around the country, and a lot of places, a lot of people I know actually have moved out of Florida because they can't get positions where they want to work. So a lot of them have moved up to Georgia, and now they're making good money. They're like, I had to leave Florida. Florida wasn't offering anything, and Florida was just being monotonous. It was like, I try. There was nothing there. But they had the income and the resources to be able to move, get a place, and actually start succeeding somewhere else. You know, for myself, I don't have that ability to move to like Georgia because I wouldn't have the money to get an apartment, then start looking for a job. But when you go on job websites, for example, there's more job outside of Florida than there is in Florida. I've just noticed. But like I said, guys, I'm keeping my head up. I'm still trying to keep my head up positive for this Amazon thing. I'm not exactly sure when Amazon is supposedly hiring or opening up their 3 warehouses here in Jacksonville, Florida. I just know that they are in the process of building them and creating them and then hiring. And once I get an email that says, here's your orientation date, that's the physical date that you will start working and start making some money. And if I get that email and I start working there, I'll be the happiest dude on the planet, because I'll be able to afford to get myself a vehicle again. I'll be able to afford to get my own apartment again. I'll be able to afford to get the finer things that I've been wanting to do with. But my main focus is to get a job, work hard, and be there for a very, very long time to make myself proud and make my family proud and show my friends and family that I am a hard-working son of a gun. And with that being said, guys, I just want you guys to keep your head up. If you're trying to get a job, just bust your ass to keep trying. What you could do is, if you have a truck, actually go out and ask people, hey, you need furniture moved, you need trash delivered to the dump, I can help you out if I have a truck. You can do certain things if you have a truck to help people move, and you can say, I'll charge you $30, I'll charge you $20. And the more you start doing that, you could kind of build a reputation that, hey, Trevor has a truck and he's willing to help people out, so we can help. He can help us, and we'll give him money. He can make money on the side. That's one thing I was thinking about while looking up trucks. But like I said, I'm Trevor. This has been another video, just talking about life and shooting the shit with you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening. As always, peace on the street, guys. Stay positive out there. I know it's a struggle. It's real.